Hey guys, welcome back to the Jay's Fifth Down podcast. I'm your host, Jaden, and today I'm here with my boy Miles, and we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, recapping Super Bowl 59. Um, Chiefs took the L in this one, man. They got whipped. Um, so we'll talk about that, man. But before we get started, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and stuff. Miles, thank you for coming on and talking some ball with us.
Yep, no problem, no problem.
So yeah, man, what happened? Like Eagles came out and played ball, man. What's your? You had like some time to think on it now. So what are your thoughts, man?
Well, it starts with the O line. Um, the Eagles were able to generate lots of pressure without blitzing, and that falls on the shoulders of the O line more so than Obviously, Mahomes was making throws that were a little bit uncharacteristic, but again, it comes down to the pressure that he was facing. Now, it's no excuse for him to turn the ball over like he did. The pick six was inexcusable. And then the second throw, I mean, like the second INT, yes, his lineman got pushed into him, but still, like, you put the ball in danger. So I definitely think that Mahomes is to blame too, but it stems from the O line. If they would have done a better job of protecting him, then the game would have looked different. But even still, he had a bad game. They didn't run the ball. Um, their receivers outside of Xavier Worthy didn't really do much of anything throughout the course of the game. Just nobody really showed up on their offense except for Xavier Worthy. And even when he did, it was really in the second half when the game was already over.
Yeah. Xavier Worthy though, being a rookie, had a great game. I mean, almost 130 receiving yards, a couple of touchdowns. So shout out to him for having a good game. Unfortunately, it didn't really matter, like you said. This game had already been decided. Um, Yeah, man. I don't know. That's probably the worst I've seen the Chiefs offense look in a minute. I mean, consistently
Yeah.
throughout a whole game, as far as like,
Yeah, I definitely think that's the worst game I've seen Patrick Mahomes play,
yeah, yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
which is crazy, man, to think because he's been in the league you know, almost 8 years now. So like
Yeah.
it's that shows you how great he is. But yeah, I mean the offense, man. And like I said, I was confused as to why they were not giving Pacheco the ball.
Yeah.
That was a little bit odd considering how well he had been doing for them when he was healthy this year.
Yeah.
Even in the Super Bowl last year, he
Yeah, I
did.
was just about to say in the past two Super Bowl
Yeah,
wins that they have, he's been an X factor. He's been an X factor. So I
and
don't know.
they didn't give him the ball.
Yeah.
But I also got to give credit to the Eagles man on their side offensively. For a great game plan. Well, at least throwing the football, running the football. Saquon really couldn't get going, so Chiefs
Hmm.
were able to kind of keep him in check, but it didn't matter because Jalen stepped up and played a good game. Dallas Goddard had a couple good plays. Devontae Smith, a couple good catches. AJ Brown, of course, another touchdown in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, the Eagles looked a whole lot different than they did the last time they played, which is what we kind of were talking about, before, right?
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts on their offense in the Super Bowl?
Um, I think even though Saquon had his worst game of the season from a rushing standpoint, his presence is what allowed them to be as successful as they were. The Chiefs had to load the box. They had to bring guys in, make sure that he did not get going. And in that, it opened up some passing lanes, and Jalen Hurts made all the throws he needed to make. Um, he had the one interception early on in the game, but that wasn't like a crazy. I mean, the pressure was coming. He tried to lay it up for AJ Brown, put too much underneath it. Outside of that, though, 17 for 22, 200 yards, two touchdowns, and then he had a good game on the ground too. The Eagles did exactly what they were supposed to do because the game plan for Kansas City, because I mean they gave the ball to Saquon 25 times, I think, and so they gave him the ball ample times, and Kansas City did what they were supposed to do from a standpoint of, okay, we're not going to let Saquon beat us, and in response, Jalen Hurts did exactly what he needed to do. He made the throws, he used his legs. Genuinely, nothing negative to say at all about what the Eagles were able to do because they showed up. Like you took Saquon out the game, and everybody else showed up.
Yeah, definitely. I was very impressed with how well the Eagles were able to offensively, control the game. They were taking up time possession. I think like early on in the game, they had been like they had the ball for up to like 15 minutes compared to the Chiefs like 2 or 3 or so. So that early, possession of the ball and eating that clock again. How you beat guys like Mahomes, right? Whoever, keep on the sideline. You know, and then the other component is defensively get the crap after him and bring him down to the ground. That's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, dude, the Chiefs O line was getting worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, and they're usually a good unit for the most part. I mean, but
It was really it was really the left tackle position that was causing them problems throughout the course of the year. So then they moved their guard, Joe Tooney, to left tackle. And
yeah,
now it's like you're basically playing with two backups out there because you got to put in the backup left guard. And then he's essentially a backup at left tackle. That's not his position. So the left side of the line was a problem. And I mean, yeah, there was nothing they could do about it. The Eagles were able to generate lots of pressure.
yeah. And it's funny. Like I saw this. I don't know if you did too, but they did not blitz at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, they were able to create pressure with their 4-man front and just get after old style football, man. Four defensive linemen down, just win their battles 1-on-1. Josh Sweat had a great game. Probably should have got defensive and MVP of the Super Bowl. He didn't, but he had a great defensive game. Brandon Graham had a good, player too in there. So like overall, and man, I gotta give Cooper DeJean some love here, man. My boy had a pick six in the Super Bowl on his birthday, man.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
like that's got to make you feel like great, man. So shout out to him, man. He's been a great player for the Eagles this year, man. I don't know if people know about Cooper DeJean, but he's a good player. He's had a solid year. He's only going to get better. So shout out to him for a good game and a great
Mm-hmm.
play that he made. The whole
Yeah.
defense is cool, man. But I mean, were you surprised? Like I won't say were you surprised, but were you? Did you think the Chiefs were going to come out a little bit better than what they did?
To start the game, not necessarily. I'm used to them having slow starts and kind of playing from behind. I mean, I know in every Super Bowl that Mahomes has played in, win or loss, he's trailed. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't necessarily come out and put his foot on other team's throat and like kill from the beginning of the game. So I wasn't really too surprised by like, the first couple 3-and-outs or anything like that. I wasn't really concerned. But as it prolonged throughout the entirety of the first half, then it became like I didn't expect that at all. But no, the first couple drives, like when Philly went up like 10-0, I was like, okay, that's fine. I expected Kansas City to respond. But then once he threw the pick six, I was like, okay, that's very uncharacteristic for what the Chiefs do. And then after the pick six, I didn't think it was over yet. I'm like, okay, he can, they throw the pick six. He can go down and score, make it 17-7. And if their defense holds up and they get the ball to start the second half, we're looking at a 17-14 game. It's still not out of reach. But like I said, as it kept prolonging throughout the entirety of the first half, it became a problem.
Yeah, man. Like and that pick six, and we texted man during the game, and I was telling you like, okay, yeah, Eagles, off to a good start, and now again, great play by Cooper DeJean, but that was kind of giving me vibes like, okay, now Robert Alford did the same thing in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, got that pick
Yeah.
six, and I don't remember what the score was at the time he made the play, but it put the Falcons up even more, and
Right.
we all know what happened. So I was like, let's hold on here. But man, just the Chiefs just could not respond. And
Yeah.
Kelsey.
Yeah. Kelsey didn't do anything. Like I said, outside of Xavier Worthy, throughout the course of the game, their pass catchers just weren't there. D Hop had a drop. Kelsey, Kelsey was
bad drop.
So yeah, it just they just didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. So that being said, man, moving kind of to our next part of the show here, Now, news broke today that Kellen Moore, the offense coordinator for the Eagles, took the job as the Saints head coach today. So he's no longer there at Philly. So do you think that affects Philly's offense moving forward, and their chances of getting back next year?
Nah, not in my opinion. I say that because, as you know, Philly was my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that wasn't reliant upon their coaching staff or anything. To me, the second they got Saquon, I was like, oh yeah, they're legit. I knew what he would bring to the dynamic that he would bring to that offense was going to be. To me, it was the same thing as CMC going to San Francisco. So I don't think that them losing. Yes, I mean he was a great offensive mind. He led a good offense in Dallas too. Like he has a good track record, but I think whoever they bring in next, the scheme is still the same. Get the ball to Saquon, have Jalen Hurts make throws when he needs to make them. It's not too complicated, you know. Like I said, my prediction of them making the Super Bowl this year wasn't dependent upon, oh yeah, Kellen Moore is going to have some great scheme. It was more so, okay, the personnel that they have, and especially now at this point, seeing how good they are defensively too, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jalen Hurts is. I think I saw something today. He's had like 9 different OCs throughout his career. So, and he's for the most part been pretty, outside of one funky year, been pretty stable.
Right.
So, and now I say that 1 year is.
Yeah, it was really like 6 weeks. It wasn't even
6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. And they're back. They won Super Bowl right this year. So, he's a guy that I think, they're gonna come back strong. They're pretty much gonna retain everybody for the most part. They, make sure they do. I think overall they'll be good, man. I mean, that defense Fangio led was amazing the whole year, and they showed up in the biggest game too. So,
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. As long as everybody can stay healthy, the coordinators aren't as big of a factor when your roster's that talented.
Yeah, they are. They're not a big factor. Yeah. So now for the Chiefs, on the other hand, do you think that Chiefs fans should be starting to get a little concerned, or this is just it's a fluke? We'll be back next year. And are you a little bit concerned? No.
Concerned for what? Because we made 7 straight AFC championships and 5 Super Bowls in 7 years. Yeah, we lost the game.
Right. Yeah.
We lost the game, but like we still the top dog in the AFC. So like I'm not. I mean, that's not what you want to see, but you know what I'm saying? Like year in, year out, we're making the Super Bowl. And they didn't even do this with Rashee Rice. I think next year he's going to add another. If he can come back, I mean, I know how severe an ACL tear is, firsthand. But I think if he can come back and still be productive, him and Worthy, like they'll be just fine. If anything, I think it kind of gives you a sense of like motivation, like they're all going to kind of look at each other in the mirror and be like, wow, like we went out there and played one of the worst Super Bowls. How do we come back from this? Versus if you get a three-peat, I feel like you become like, we on top of the world. Like can't nobody touch us. But this is more like humbling.
Yeah. And it was due to happen at some point, even though I didn't think it was physically, spiritually, everything possible for the Chiefs to lose the Super Bowl. But they did. And, so, and now, like you said, I mean, everybody just kind of has to have that look in the mirror moment. It happens, to those teams. I mean, heck, I remember in high school playing football, we were part of a few championship teams. Then one year we got absolutely blown out in the quarterfinals, 34-0. That was the score. I remember it to this day, 4 or 5 years later. And it humbled us, and that was my senior year. So, but the point is, sometimes, man, you just fall down, you get humbled, and but you got to come back stronger. So, it's motivation, right? Like you said. So, yeah. So my next question, man. Now, everybody's been talking about this since Sunday, and they're saying that Patrick Mahomes is not the GOAT. Everybody's made it clear. Every freaking sports media, like, stop saying this man's the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. The Tom Brady is will forever. So, what is your say? You agree, or what's your stance on that? Like,
I mean, he was never the GOAT. I think, the sports media is so like caught up in the moment, Had he three-peated, oh my God, he's a GOAT. He loses the game, oh, he'll never be the GOAT. I don't think that's how that works because he's 29 years old. I don't honestly, I still don't think I would have even had him as the GOAT had he three-peated because that doesn't do anything for, like, if he would have three-peated and then never got back to the Super Bowl, I still wouldn't put him as the GOAT. It's about, now, yes, obviously three-peating would have added on to his total legacy, but it's not about, you're not going to be the GOAT of your sport at 29 years old. It was never about that. So, yes, I mean, he lost the game and people are going to hold that against him. But let's say in this next decade, he does three-peat at some point. Then they're just going to switch back and be like, oh, no, he's the GOAT. He three-peated. He has 6 Super Bowl rings. At minimum, if he three-peats, at minimum, he's going to have 6. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? People are caught up in the moment.
It's recency bias, right?
Yeah, that's always what it is in the sports world. So I do agree that he's not the GOAT, but it's not because he lost that game. It's because he's 29.
Yeah. It's like, if you switch, it's like, oh yeah, he wins the Super Bowl. He's a GOAT, or whatever stupid argument. And then it's like he loses. Oh, he's a listen. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best players to ever touch a football that I've seen, that we will see in our lifetime. We were blessed to see some of Brady and Manning and those guys, and now Mahomes we will see throughout our kind of elder years. Like, our parents got to saw those quarterbacks, those legends, right? However, Mahomes, honestly don't think he will surpass Tom Brady championships. That's my personal opinion. I don't think he will. If anybody can do it, it's him, but I don't think he's going to do it. But if he were to, yeah, okay, I don't know, right? So, I don't know, man. It's
I think personally, I think Mahomes, well, he's the problem is the thing that's gonna kill him, like in my opinion, as far as like if I'm looking at the GOAT. When he loses in the Super Bowl, it's bad. It's bad. He's at I think the point differential when he loses is like 40. Like they're, minus 40 versus Tom Brady lost his 3 Super Bowls by a combined 15.
yeah.
So I think that can hurt. But just overall, I feel like the reason that he still has potential to be the GOAT is because of his like raw talent. I think because when I'm looking at the GOAT, it's like a mixture of everything. How good are you? How clutch are you? How successful were you? All those different things. And he has more of a natural gift at the quarterback position. Brady mastered how to play the position and how to outsmart you. Mahomes is more naturally like, he can scramble on you. He can make all the throws inside the pocket, outside the pocket. And I think if he continues to develop mentally and get sharper, he'll put himself in a position where even let's say he retires with 6, because of how he plays, it can look differently than Brady. It's kind of like for me, Bron and Jordan, like Bron's never gonna have 6 rings, but because of his athletic ability and his continued dominance, the argument, whether or not you think LeBron is the GOAT, the argument changed and became less about the rings because of how LeBron plays the game of basketball. I think Patrick Mahomes can have that same type of effect, even if he doesn't get the rings, because of how gifted he is as a player. He can, make the conversation become a real thing.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that raw just abilities. I don't know how to explain. It's like he's just. It's like you get out there. It's like he's playing football for fun, almost in a way. Like he gets out there and he's like, okay, well, he's open. I'm just gonna go over here, here, and like he has fun. He goes there. He has fun with it, And Andy, like, if your head coach is drawing up plays that in like in any other level of football, and maybe even some teams in the NFL, most teams in the NFL, no coach in their right mind will ever draw up. But the Chiefs are doing it, and Andy Reid doesn't care because he knows Patrick Mahomes can go out there and do it. Like they're running plays, man, that what I mean, even in the red zone, I would not ever, if I was a coach, run a play with. I don't care who my quarterback is. But with Mahomes, it's like if the play messes up, oh well, it's still a higher chance of it working. High
Right.
reward, low risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I think too, similarly to Bron and Jordan, Mahomes will probably retire with the better numbers. From a standpoint, like I know for a fact, 29-year-old versus 29-year-old, Mahomes has like every category. The only thing that will hold him back is the longevity. If I don't know if he will play long enough to eventually eclipse what Brady has done, but like from a per game standpoint, Mahomes is the better quarterback from a strictly number standpoint. So he'll have an opportunity to, as long as he can play another decade or so, he'll have the opportunity to make the GOAT conversation a real thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he'll, yeah. I mean, and with the way the game is going to continue to grow, unless they keep adding games onto the schedule. I don't know if they're going to do that. Let's talk about adding another game.
Right, right.
But in a normal situation, like now, I mean, dude, Brady played 21, 22 years.
Right.
I think Mahomes. I mean, I don't know. I think he could do it too if he wanted to. And how quarterback, and how quarterbacks are protected, how he is protected. Let's call it what it is. I mean, dude, Patrick Mahomes can go run like outside the pocket, and then he'll slide down. Somebody will fall in front of him, and he gets a flag. He gets like, so it's like, dude, he's gonna be fine. I think he can play for a long time. I really do. So yeah, maybe he will catch him. I don't know. So we'll see. But other than that, man, before we kind of wrap up, any last thoughts? Anything else you want to chop it up, man? Talk about?
I want to ask you.
Okay.
With what Jalen Hurts was able to accomplish, become Super Bowl MVP, blah 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 blah. Is he a top 5 quarterback?
Oh man, I knew you were going to ask that. Right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I just talked about recency bias. I mean, okay, so if we're looking at top 5, okay, so my top 3 right now: Mahomes, Allen.
I mean, the top Jackson. 4. Yeah, the top 4, no matter how you want to order it, is going to be
Burrow.
Right, that's the top 4. Yeah.
So now that 5th spot, like obviously, yeah, Hurts has a Super Bowl, so that. I see, man. I don't know. This is a tough question, man. Like Jalen Hurts, look, I love Jalen Hurts. He is a great quarterback. I mean, are we basing this off of just numbers wise or overall? Like, I mean, because you got to give me the.
Like, okay. So like, the team is filled out from a roster standpoint, right? You have everything but a quarterback. Playoffs are from the start. We need a quarterback on this roster to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd take Jalen. Yeah, I definitely would take him. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, like, no doubt.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn between it.
I mean, I think If that's my only option, yeah. I mean, I would take Jalen Hurts. I think. I mean, you said the roster's filled out. You have everything you need, right? From a personnel standpoint, defense, offense. You need a guy that's good enough. I mean, the Eagles weren't even asking him to be a top two quarterback. They didn't ask him to do that, and
Mhm.
he went up there, did what they asked him to do. He got him Super Bowl, and they got a win. So I guess that'll probably be my answer. I don't,
I
is he top?
think
I don't know.
I think I think for right now I have to say yes. That he's top 5 from like the criteria that I was saying. Like, okay, the roster is built up. You need a quarterback. Who are you inserting here? I'll have to put him at 5th because he's shown me on the biggest stage twice that he can outplay Patrick Mahomes, and that has to hold some sort of value.
Yeah,
The person that I would consider taking before him is Jaden Daniels, but
yeah,
Jalen Hurts has just shown I can't ignore what he's done in the Super Bowl twice at this point. He's a playoff performer. I was saying that I feel like Jalen Hurts in his 2 Super Bowls has played better in any playoff game than Lamar Jackson has ever played.
yeah. Yes, that is the truth. So we'll see if that ever gets to change for Lamar Jackson. But in the meantime, not looking like it. So, but yeah, man, like I said, thank you, Miles, for coming on, talking the ball with us, recapping the Super Bowl. Good question there at the end. That was really good there. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Is Jalen Hurts the top 5 QB right now in the NFL? Let me know what you think. Thank you, man, for your time. And yeah, we'll have you back on soon, man. But like I say, great talking with you. So,
Yep. Always, man.
yes, sir. But yeah, we'll catch y'all later. And make sure you hit that subscribe button.